evening. I'm here at the Sick Puppy Mansion after a hard day's work getting our Deni Ute back on the road. So our most recent trip to CVS Mechanical seen us ripping our old 4-speed out. We had to drain all the oils, undo all the bolts, start a motor out and drop that sucker down. Now before we threw our new 5-speed in there, we had to replace the clutch. So we ripped out our old garbage clutch and threw in a brand new heavy duty. Once our new clutch was in, it was time to fit our beautiful, beautiful 5-speed in its place. Now once that was all bolted up, we had to put all new oils in there, throw our starter motor back in, and then the crucial part. Because we've changed from a 4-speed to a 5-speed, we had to shorten and lengthen our drive shaft. Now our buddies over at Driveline Services worked their magic on our shafts. Yeah, that sounded really bad. Our buddies over at Driveline Services worked their magic on our drive shafts. Now this time we got professionals to do it because you've seen us fuck with drive shafts. It ain't pretty.
I found out why this drove like a piece of garbage. The front shaft was out of phase by a quarter of a turn. The rear shaft was out of phase by an eighth of a turn.
Bud's got this really bad problem of when he pulls out a drive shaft, he pulls it apart and then just jams it back in any location and away you go. Now moving on to our aircon. The aircon system we had to put in our Deni Ute is nicknamed knee freezers. Why you ask? Is because they're a small unit, about yay big, and they face right on your kneecaps. That is one thing that Deni Ute definitely needed, was a little bit of cold air in that cabin. Because I'm not sure if you realise, but it is hot in there. Our last trip, I had to drive with the doors open because it was that hot.
Feel that breeze. Oh my god.
You're trying to get the aircon working there, Codes.
Yeah, it's working pretty good, man.
Now our old knee freezer kit was pretty easy to install. Basically, install the unit inside the cab, run our AC lines outside, and then to our condenser that sits in the front grille. Crimp all the lines, run your drain lines through the cab, and you've got a cold Deni Ute. Our exhaust was set up the most bodgiest way you can ever imagine. Now, old Greg condemned it straight away. So old Greg made up a dump pipe, coming out under the cab, shoots out the back. All professional 3-inch tube. Oh, did I tell you, it's also got a muffler, which is an absolute sick puppy first. Now, I'm gonna tell you the story about the bull bar. 1 second. Absolute magnificent drop. Now our bull bar originally come up our 60 series, but once we've cut it, it took us like 20 minutes to prep it to fit onto the Deni Ute. I've been tasked to take the steel bit out of my old bull bar. Greg doesn't like this bar, he has condemned it, so I have to take it off and it's going to go live back in my shed with all my other Jeep parts. I'm just going to take the steel insert bit that Alitech made us and put it back on the front of the Deni Ute. So there's our mark, just going to cut that through there, small incision right there, and then that is the measurement inside of this. So we're just going to knock them off and then weld it on the inside right here.
Unless you're going in a straight line forever.
Right, that's all I'm going, straight ahead. But once it was on there, it was just something about it I did not like. I still cannot figure it out. Maybe you should let us know in the comments. Exquisite. Once everything was done, it was time to drive the old girl. So me and Greg jumped in the cab and went for a lap down the street. I tell you what, without that sound deadening, I'll talk about that soon, it was loud as hell, but the exhaust sounded great and that turbo whistle sounded even better. I'll tell you what, for something that we slapped together from parts from around the farm, it is starting to take shape beautifully. It is becoming its own little gem. Absolutely love it. You can put makeup on a pig, but at the end of the day, it's still a pig. What a weapon. Loves it, it goes, it stops. It is fucking amazing. It puts a smile on your face, I tell you. I'm so excited. Cannot wait for this thing to come back. Still loud as hell, though. Speaking of the noise, the boys from Car Builders sent us a complete insulation kit for the inside of our Deni Ute. Now, tell you what, it made a dramatic difference to what it was before.
Hey Cody, can you hear me back there, mate?
They're trying to talk to the radio, but I can't hear shit. Are you talking to me?
Yeah, just saying if you can hear me, mate, that's all.
What?
No, don't worry about it, you just keep driving.
Okay.
Now I did that off camera because I tell you what, I was so keen not to be deaf anymore. But if you want to see some other stuff that I do behind the scenes, you should jump onto my new show. It's called The Doghouse and it's for our Patreon viewers only. It's basically me behind the scenes, what I do in between episodes. If you want to jump on there, I built one of these, a carbon copy of my Jeep. Check it out. It's absolutely amazing. You'll love it. If you're a fan of Sick Puppy, you'll be a fan of the Doghouse. Speaking of ride comfort, we have a massive surprise coming soon from our friends over at EFS Suspension. Now they are going to absolutely save my spine from the old springs in the Deni Ute. Now if you've watched the build of the Deni Ute, you can see it used to be an old tradies truck. So our leaf packs in the rear are about yay big. So you can only imagine having a truck with no weight in the ass, cruising down the highway and hitting a pothole.
This time on Sick Puppy before we take the Deni Ute off-road. Here we go, this one's good.
I used to be 6'4", but now my spine is so compressed, I'm shorter than old Spud. So the boys from EFS are going to help us out with that, and then the Deni Ute can return for good for about the 10th time on the channel. Alright, the time has come to wrap it up, but the Deni Ute will be back on the road. No, the Deni Ute will be back on the tracks. We will be back on the tracks. Spud will be back off his head. And we'll see you in the next video. Let me know what you think about our new mansion. See you next time, boys. Where's my platter? Bring me my platter. What the fuck do you call this? I'm fucking out of here, mate.